nice to see you again if you're returning to this channel, and a very warm welcome if this is the first time when you're accessing one of my videos. If so, I recommend you check my first and my second video where I share a little bit about myself, who I am, as well as about the purpose of this channel. I am currently enjoying a nice warm cup of tea. I've experienced some flu symptoms the last few days, and so I'm trying to stay warm and take good care of myself, as you can see. And I hope you're doing the same. I really hope I can encourage everyone that accesses these videos to learn to be kinder to themselves and learn to take greater care of themselves and give themselves the kindness and the compassion and the care they give to all the people they love and they care about. For today's video, I have two aspects in mind that I'd like to discuss, explore, and share on and about with you. Throughout the video, probably you will see me taking sips of tea to help my throat stay well lubricated and be able to continue to speak fluently. And this is one of those moments. So for today's video, I have two main aspects that I want to explore. And those are, first, I'd like to share with you some information on what the Module 1 of the Level 8 COSCA Counseling Certificate looks like in terms of structure, in terms of costs, and just share a little bit with you what is it you can expect in terms of content and in terms of the variation that some of you might experience in undertaking this module. Secondly, I want to discuss with you and just share a little bit about my experience of the Module 1 so far. My experience in terms of the knowledge, the skills I've developed, and yeah, just the overall experience of Module 1 so far for myself. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into the first aspect of this video. As a general rule, I think I've shared with you in the second video, you can pay each module. You don't have to pay for the full certificate at the beginning of the enrollment. So in terms of the financial costs for Module 1, for me, because I chose to do my program with Edinburgh College, the total cost of the program of the Level 8 COSCA Certificate in Counselling Skills has been £1,300, and that has been it's being spread out over 4 modules. So the cost of the first module was £325, and that can be paid depending on your provider, but most of them do offer the options to pay it all at once or in multiple installments. I personally was able to pay it all at once. So yeah, in terms of costs, expect to pay anything between £300 and £325 for enrolling in the first module of this program. In terms of structure, the program I've chosen to do with Edinburgh College comes in 12 sessions. As I said, COSCA, I think I've said that in my second video, COSCA does set the structure, the overall structure and standards of the program, and it doesn't matter which provider you're going with, they will all follow more or less to a closer or lesser extent the same structure. So whatever provider you're going to choose to do your course with, they will all offer the course in four modules, and each module will have the same number of units, and is normally structured as a weekly session. So, for example, Edinburgh College provides an opportunity to attend the weekly sessions in the evening, in the morning, in the afternoon. They have several cohorts of people who attend at the same time, so they make it as accessible as possible. For me personally, evenings work best, so I've chosen to attend evening sessions, midweek evening session, and so far has been a good experience in terms of managing to engage and bring myself to the session and to the content after half a day of work and family commitments and whatnot. The structure of the module, as I said, comes in 12 sessions. Each session you will be exploring a different unit. And I think the main purpose of the first module so far has been to introduce people to what they call in counseling, to the beginnings. Counseling as a process is structured in three parts: the beginnings, the middles, and the ends. That's a model that professionals have designed and structured. So what beginnings consists of? I'm going to actually be very loyal to the content we explored. So I'm going to share with you the exact main aspects you will be looking to explore or expect to explore in Module 1. Anything from starting with defining counseling and understanding counseling and the difference between counseling, the counseling approach, and other different forms of support. Anything from there through the last unit, you're looking at actually reviewing your work, reviewing a video where you look to demonstrate your understanding and your ability to implement the skills and the knowledge you've been taught and you've been learning and you've been practicing throughout the module. So main points that you will, in terms of theory, main points that you will be looking at in these first modules are, as I said, understanding what counseling is and the difference between counseling and different other forms of support. Then you will be looking at understanding what are the core essential qualities in counseling, such as acceptance, empathy, and genuineness, or authenticity. Then you'll also be learning about attending skills and responding skills, anything ranging from active listening, paraphrasing, summarizing, reflecting on feelings. These are micro skills actually that are embodied in the greater skill, which is called the skill of attending and the skill of responding in a helpful manner, with active listening being the main skill that you are hoping to learn about, practice and develop in this module. Learning to be an active listener and listen in a helpful manner. And I will share with you what that means in the second part of this video, when I'm going to talk about my experience of what it felt like to learn to listen in a helpful manner and what that looks like in practice. Another main aspect you'll be looking at exploring in this module is self-awareness. Self-development and self-awareness, as I mentioned in my previous videos, are key aspects to developing an ability to use a counseling approach or to developing as a counselor. essential qualities, as I mentioned, are the genuineness. Gosh, I have difficulty pronouncing this word. I hope you can empathize with me. I will call it authenticity. It comes in different forms. Many people call it an absence of facade, an ability to be authentic, ability to be genuine, to be yourself, not to play a role while you are in that space listening to the other person. Just be fully yourself. Bring the totality of who you are. Empathy, yeah, the ability to empathize and to understand the other person's perspective and see things from their frame of reference, yeah, from their shoes, putting yourself in their shoes, which is never to be confused with sympathy, which is a totally different approach to listening to someone. And yeah, acceptance, which Carl Rogers has coined down as unconditional positive regard. So yeah, you'll be exploring theory as well as an ability. You'll have an ability, an opportunity, pardon me, to practice, to discuss your understanding of this core key qualities that you need to have as a person and develop in order to become a counselor. Another important aspect you will be exploring this first module is an introduction to ethics and confidentiality. Like most of the helping or healthcare professions, counseling as well will have a frame of reference and a code of practice and ethics that professionals must abide to and follow very closely to ensure the greatest standard of service provided, as well as to ensure people's safety and unconditional positive regard and respect and growth. Not to be mentioned the last, but very important. So yeah, throughout Unit 1, right down to Unit 12, you will be exploring these main aspects that I already presented, and your sessions in terms of structure will look something like that. First part, you'll be exploring a little bit of theory, and there will be a little bit of discussion, and the tutor facilitator will be presenting students with material that will be discussed and explored. And normally the second part of the session is destined to practice some of the skills that you are learning about and understand as each week goes by. So yeah, that's kind of what you can expect from each weekly session of the module 1. A really important key throughout your learning process is, as I mentioned, self-awareness. So journaling comes as an essential requirement throughout the program, the full program from module 1 to module 4, because in counseling this is considered really helpful tool that we can use to gain self-awareness and to understand ourselves and to get maybe unconscious aspects on the paper and help us see these aspects that maybe we're not aware of, or maybe that we are aware of some of them, and maybe look at it and gain further understanding and further insight into who we are, as well as it gives us a path into what we would like to be like, or who would like to be like in the future, and how we can work with what we have in order to journey further towards that best version of ourselves that we want to become, that is hopefully able to fully accept, empathize, and be authentic with another person in order to be able to nurture um, their journey and their development. Um, I'm now going to take another sip of tea to support and love my throat. Mm. Yeah. So to come back to the structure and what you can expect from module one, in terms of assessment, journaling is not being assessed. It's a practice. It's a tool and a practice that you use and you develop for yourself as part of your self-development and awareness. Each session comes with an invitation to self-evaluate and to understand what is that you learn in each session and how each session has contributed to your theoretical understanding of what counseling is, and to your understanding of yourself and how you find yourself in the group. Yes, a very important aspect that I didn't mention. You'll be studying together with a group of people, and the counseling certificate is very different than the formal academic learning or teaching that we probably most of us are used to. The tutor, the facilitator, doesn't necessarily take an expert position. It's more about them being the catalyst, them being the initiator into presenting or putting on the table a certain topic, certain level of theory. But it's the process itself of learning. It's developing throughout everyone's contribution. Yeah, so most of the people that come to study counseling aren't necessarily psychology graduates or don't have previous knowledge of counseling. Some of them have, like for myself personally, I entered this program of training with a good knowledge base, so I'm coming with a lot in terms of theory. Some other people might not have a lot of understanding of theory, but they have a lot of skills that they bring to the table, and they share about their skills and their journey of learning those skills and developing those skills. And yeah, the group will be a mix of very, very interesting people coming from all different walks of life, of different ages, with different background, anything from anyone who has been an accountant or an economist, right to maybe someone who has studied music or chemistry or has studied nothing at all. It's just their maybe their first contact with some form of education in terms of like higher education or postgraduate level education. So yeah, the learning happens in a very organic way, not all coming from the tutor, the facilitator, but being a beautiful, harmonious collaboration of each person bringing their own knowledge and skills to the table and learning from one another. So, as you can gather, the attitude that one must have coming to such a form of training is to be very open-minded and very respectful of everyone's knowledge and experience and a set of skills. So the first module ends with an assessment, and this assessment consists of a written piece of work, which is some call it an essay, some call it a personal statement. It doesn't require academic skills. Like it's not as an academic essay. Of course, it needs to be as much closer as possible to a formal writing, but it's a reflective piece of work. And the main purpose of this personal statement or essay is for you to share with your tutor and your peers what has been your learning so far in terms of the theories and the skills you've learned about, and what's your understanding of the core qualities of counseling, for example. So that's the first part of the assessment. And the second part of the assessment is a recorded video where you actually get to practice those skills you've learned throughout each session, each of the 12 sessions. An important aspect that I forgot to mention, and I'm going to mention now, is, as I said, in the second part of each session, you will get to explore what it feels like to practice those skills that you're learning about, such as active listening, listening in a helpful manner, paraphrasing, responding in a helpful manner, using verbal and nonverbal elements such as body language, voice intonation, and listening to someone else's body language and tone of voice, and unspoken words, and being able to pick up certain feelings that they express verbally or that maybe they expressed unconsciously non-verbally and you picked up on. So having that ability to reflect on that, on those feelings that are maybe not verbalized but you observe, because you in the role of a listener, you have access to certain aspects that maybe the speaker, the person who enters the role of the speaker, doesn't necessarily have access to because they don't see themselves. You are almost like a mirror reflecting what is that you see in that person. And a really important aspect is always being very respectful and seeking to gain clarification of your understanding. Counseling is not about interpreting what we hear from the person that we are listening to, but it's about trying to gain an understanding of what they are expressing verbally or non-verbally, and always seeking to clarify our understanding, because we are seeking to help them explore and gain further understanding of their own situation, circumstances, difficulty. So yeah, being respectful and being patient are keys, as well as paying very close attention to your speaker, mind, body, and soul, the totality of who you are, bringing yourself to that space and paying attention. That is really important. So yeah, each session comes with an opportunity for you to engage with your peers in a dyad or a triad, as in twos or in threes, and practice the skills that you're learning about, and observe each other and give each other feedback. So yeah, throughout the module 1, you will be learning to be a helpful listener. You will be learning to open up and be a speaker, or a client, as we would only probably later on refer to ourselves as trainee counselors, and we'll be looking at our speakers, interpreting them as our client, because that's what they're playing a role, for the help of developing that context in which we can practice our counseling skills. So each person actually in each session gets to be the listener, gets to be the speaker, the client, and gets to be the observer. And we give each other feedback, as well as we receive feedback from our tutor. So the last session of the module 1, session 12, unit 12, consists of actually supporting each other in creating these videos and taking turns in being the listener, the speaker, and the observer, with the purpose of having a piece of recorded work, video and audio, that is part of the assessment. And then, as I said, the written work that you are creating will be shared with your tutor. It's a short statement, anything around 1,000 words, I think, if I remember well. 2 pages and a quarter comes in Word document. That's the maximum of length. It doesn't necessarily have to be that long. So the second part of the assessment is this video, where you, as I said, get to practice the skills you've learned, and then your tutor will look will pardon me. Your tutor will have a look at this video and will discuss this video with you and with your peers, with the triad that you worked with throughout the module. The main purpose of this assessment is to give yourself a glimpse of who you are in that role. It's a beautiful experience. I've got to learn. I've had a chance to learn so much about myself and about my body language, and it can be quite nerve-wracking for someone to feel me where you are doing it. But it's also a really important opportunity for you to learn more about yourself, to learn more about those hidden aspects of yourself that maybe you don't have access to while because you don't see yourself, right? So yeah, that's module 1 in terms of structure and the content you'll be exploring. And as I said, it's entitled Beginnings, and probably yeah, if it focuses on you learning the basics of counseling in terms of theories and skills and practice of those skills, and most importantly, learning how to engage in work that aims to help you to develop more self-awareness and aims to help you advance your communication skills. So that would be um, my sharing for the first point that I had in my mind to explore in this video. The second point that I had in mind to explore with you was my experience overall of this module. I'm looking at the time and I'm aware that we are already 27 minutes in. So, gosh, I love talking, don't I? It says that some of us struggle with words, but probably that's me, and some of us struggle for words, as in finding the words. I definitely have no trouble in finding words and talking plenty. So yeah, to share with you a little bit about my experience of this module so far, it has been great. It has been mind-opening. It has been heartwarming. It has been scary. It has been exciting, insightful. I think 3 main things I've learned about myself in this module is to identify those core qualities within myself, which is empathy, acceptance, and the ability to be genuine, being genuine. At my core, I'm a very genuine and honest person, as I hope you can see. My aim was throughout this program overall to learn more and more to embody those qualities and skills, and transform them in a way of being rather than use them as tools and skills. As we will later on discuss, there are so many approaches to counseling, but the person-centered approach aims to train counselors in embodying this, what some people call skills or qualities if they don't already have them. I've learned that I possess the core qualities of being able to accept fully the person that is before me, to fully accept my peers for who they are. And what do I mean by acceptance? I am it Acceptance refers to an ability to enter a space with someone, enter an interaction with someone, not intending to judge them, or if you feel like the judgment is arising, not to engage with that ability that we all have to judge, or that, I don't know, human urge to judge, because of course we will be interacting with very different people, very different in ourselves, which have their own, like all of us, their own prejudices and biases. So yeah, I think in counseling, really, really key is to learn to be aware of your own prejudices and biases, and be able to pause that when you're interacting with someone and receive them fully for who they are. Accept them in that space. You don't have to agree with them, but you don't have to judge them either, in order to be able to engage in a fruitful and um, helpful interaction for their sake. Should you be in the role of the listener, or for your sake, should you be in the role of the speaker, the client? Um, as I said, I consider myself an authentic person, and I got to learn about myself from my peers, and I was really pleased to see they perceive me as an honest and genuine person, because I think that's the essence of who I am. Um, and learning to accept other people that maybe feel scared or afraid to be themselves or to be fully genuine and authentic has been a very good experience for me, because I got to practice more acceptance for myself, having difficulties in accepting them, and um, for them trying to accept them as who they are and as who they come to be in every session. People will behave differently every time when you meet them, and I try not to attach myself to um, expecting that people will always behave the way they normally behave. And that has been a very freeing experience for me, having not much expectations from people, because that then helps me to let go of the urge to judge, or of the innate natural um, urge to label, and so on. And empathy, yes, I consider myself a very empathetic person. I've always felt an ability to feel other people's emotions, feel other people's energy and vibes, and understand unspoken feelings, or identify and bring before people unspoken feelings. And so that has been really, really massive for me, to learn from my peers that they also perceive me as an empathetic person, as a genuine person, and as a person who tries her best to accept others. So yeah, this process of training, counseling training, it's a very healing process and comforting, as well as a nurturing process, where you learn so much about who you are and about your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities, as well as about your strengths, and you get to do that in a very safe environment. Everyone who comes to train as a counselor learns to give themselves what they try to give to others, and learn to apply on themselves what they try to apply with others. In terms of skills that I think I developed further in this module, um, it was the ability to listen in a helpful manner. And what do I mean by that? I was in a place where I could listen, just to listen and to receive that person in this space created between me and them, rather than engaging in listening with an agenda of fixing someone, or providing solutions, or making them see the right point of view, or making them see a better point of view. Especially at the very beginning, that's a no-no in counseling training and in counseling in general. Before you can offer a perspective onto something or for someone, one must learn about that person. One must understand who that person is from their own, from that person's point of reference or frame of reference. So as a listener, you aim to hear, understand the person before you, understand their circumstances from their perspective, not from your own perspective. And I think for many of my peers, being in this training has been the first time when they've experienced what it means to be really listened to, what it means for a person to willingly extend themselves to creating that space where you as the speaker are the most important person and at the center of that interaction, and where the listener doesn't necessarily have an agenda or doesn't seek to tell you who you are, using their own interpretation of what they're hearing from you. So yeah, I've experienced their experience. I've witnessed their experience, and that has been very healing for me, to see them experiencing for the first time such authentic and comforting and healing interactions. For me personally, I've been lucky and blessed to have people in my life that do know how to listen in a helpful manner and do know how to give me that space. So I use these sessions to practice giving the same to other people. And listening in a helpful manner also means that you as a listener, yeah, trainer, counselor, trainee counselor, um, you're experiencing empathy for the speaker, for the person before you. Um, but there is a very fine skill required in counseling, which is learning to communicate that empathy. And for me, that has been really, really major work, because I've learned to find my style of communicating that empathy verbally and non-verbally. Um, attending non-verbally is really important, showing to your client, your speaker, that you are present, mind, body, and soul with them there, giving them your full attention, maintaining good eye contact, but not confrontational or too intrusive, but kind of learning to understand what is the level of eye contact that each person that speaks to you is comfortable with, and trying to offer that in a very gentle and respectful and non-intrusive way. Being present, attending to the speaker with your full body, um, as well as learning while you are listening to them to experience that stillness, and to be relaxed within yourself, to be in a position where you can receive what the person is sharing, and you can fully attend to their story and their experience as a speaker. It takes great vulnerability for someone to open up and share with another person um, about their difficulties and their struggles. So as a trainee counselor, you get the chance to learn how to honor that person's vulnerability. Other micro skills of active listening and listening in a helpful manner is learning to paraphrase and to summarize what has been said, with the purpose of helping the speaker to gain clarity in what they are sharing, and with the purpose of you gaining clarity that the understanding you are developing about the person before you, it's a real one. It's not something that you interpreted in your mind. Um, Summarizing, the ability to summarize helps your client to maybe organize their thoughts and feelings that they are sharing in that moment, in that space. And that is really of real importance for the speaker, because it helps them gain clarity over what is going on within themselves. Many people have so much to say and so much to share, and most commonly they will just pour it all out, and your role as a listener is to receive that, try to contain it, yeah, try to 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 receive it all and to gain some understanding and reflect it back to your speaker. um, and yeah, I've been learning to paraphrase helpfully. Paraphrasing means um, hearing out what the person is saying and reflecting back with your own words or using their own words, um, to help them see that you're interested in learning about who they are and what their difficulty is, or what their circumstances are. I want to bring something to this point. Many people think that counseling is for people who struggle with mental health challenges or issues, as some people call them. Um, for me personally, and so far as I've learned from my tutor, who is an experienced counselor with 25 years of experience of working in private practice as well as in public service. So counseling is a form of help for anyone out there who is seeking either to experience healing and or who is seeking to experience growth. You do not have to have a mental health challenge to access counseling. Um, Counseling can be used as a form of support to help you thrive, to help you access next levels of success or awareness in your life. So it's not only destined for those people who have a lot of trauma or pain or grief in their lives. It's also destined to um, those people who seek to develop further, who seek to gain more self-awareness, who seek to develop as a person, who seek to develop as a professional, who seek to gain more confidence that is required for the next level in their lives. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to add this at this point in my exploration and in my discussion about counseling is and why, what are the skills required in counseling. And as you can see, if you have someone who has an ability to fully listen to you and to hopefully understand things from your perspective, them being able to reflect that back to you gives you an opportunity to take those insights and work with them to your betterment, to your development. Being that out of a difficult past experience or current experience, or being that out of a place of stillness and comfort, but seeking to further grow and develop. I hope that what I've shared so far makes sense to you. So yeah, skills such as learning to paraphrase, learning to summarize are actually advanced communication skills. These are skills most of us use in our lives, in interaction with our families, or with our coworkers. Communication skills, communication in general, I consider is the blood of any relationship or any interaction, be that a professional interaction or in a professional relationship at work, or in a personal relationship at home with your husband, with your children, with your friends. So module 1 will help you to develop advanced communication skills. That's the aim, which sets really good foundations for counseling. I'm mindful of the time, and I think one last thing I will share with you would be what I've learned again so far in this module has been an ability to be comfortable with um, with hearing people's difficulties and not feeling the urge, not feeling I will feel the urge to offer a solution, to offer my insights. Because I think when you're a very empathetic person, you will inevitably feel the need to help, feel the need to save, feel the need to reach out. And I've learned that the basic and the essential way you can reach out and help is by offering that space to people, by listening to them. Because you might be the first person in your life who has given themselves, has extended themselves in creating that space where they can speak, where they know they will not feel interrupted, where they know they are fully received and accepted, and they don't feel, where they know they will not be judged for who they are and for their actions or for their opinions or for their lack thereof opinion. I don't know, anything. So I've learned about almost like the sacredness of this ability to listen before at a later stage in that helping relationship in counseling. You offer perspectives, you help the person explore solutions. So this has been massive for me, learning that the most essential thing I need to offer and I can offer is that space, and learning to feel okay and safe with that, without needing to act on my urge to fix someone or to fix something or to give solutions. Counseling is not about fixing anyone. It's not about giving the solutions. It is about offering perspective. It is about offering insights. It is about helping the person to access resources within themselves. It is about offering resources and tools that you know as a professional and you know they work, or they are of help in general, in certain circumstances. But it isn't about fixing anyone. It's not about advice giving, and it's definitely not about you being the expert and treating people from that stance. Again, that depends very much on what counseling approach people choose to train in and choose to practice. And about that we will discuss in the next videos. I think that is all for today. I hope that what I've shared so far has been helpful or has been interesting. For me personally, this journey so far has been absolutely incredible. I loved every moment. It wasn't easy, and it isn't easy, but it's really, really, I feel I'm growing a lot. I feel I'm growing a lot as a human being. I feel like I'm becoming that person that I want to be, in order to be the counselor I want to be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'm actually looking forward to see any of your comments or opinions on what I've shared so far. I'd love to hear what are your thoughts so far on what you've heard from me about counseling and counseling training. Until then, I hope you're going to have a very good day and a very good rest of the week. I hope that you will manage to be kind, acceptant, and loving towards yourself, and out of that, give to other people. Stay well, and yeah, see you next time. Bye for now.